Timothy Adebule, rise to support the motion ably moved by Senator Ireti Kingibe on the plight of the girl child, on the rights of the girl child, and the need on the right of the girl child to be protected, and of course the girl rights law, protection law to be upheld. Thank you.
You may wish to make some comments on it, no problem.
Very well, Your Excellency, the Senate of the President, the Senate President. It is true that our girls face quite a number of social, cultural, and economic challenges, some of which have been enumerated here in this hall. And it is our responsibility as senators, female senators in particular, to cry out to the Senate to ensure that we protect the young ones, particularly the girls, in ensuring that the issue of violence against them are prevented, that early marriage too. Permit me to say that in terms of early marriage, this is not something that is good for them, to prevent them from going to school, prevent them from being educated, prevent them from a life that they deserve to have in the future, by being able to be part of this, because if they don't go to school, I doubt if there's a way they will be here to come and represent our agenda. I therefore crave the indulgence of my colleagues and the Senate President to please ensure that we speak to all the agencies of government, particularly governors in their respective states, to make it a point of duty to ensure that the rights of girls are protected, to also ensure that the idea of early marriage are prevented. Asking a girl of 18 years to be married to a man of 40, 60 years is something that we should be able to speak about. It's something that we should be able to talk about. Yes, our religion allowed it, but then if we look at what is happening in the world all over today, we will realize that there's need for us to give these children the opportunity to go to school. We can marry them, keep them in school. When they finish the school, they can come and join the family. That is better than taking them away from school, preventing them from being educated and getting the right, enjoying the rights that they deserve. I therefore join Senator Kingibe in calling on all of us, particularly the senators, to ensure that we give this bill, this motion, the deserving support, such that we can all ensure that all the governors in the state, all the local government chairmen, whoever under them, that they are able to also stand up for these girls and ensure that they enjoy the rights that they deserve. Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity.
Thank you.
And support my distinguished sister, Senator Ireti Kingibe, for bringing this motion regarding girl child and the need for the federal government to intervene to save the future of our girls. Mr. President, looking at the number of out-of-school children, about 10 million, and especially looking at the fact that over 60% have these cultural barriers, yes, it's very important, especially in the rural areas, to carry out enlightenment campaign by the federal government in collaboration with the state government, which will give more effect in ensuring that the girl child are given the opportunity to be educated, because once they have this education, it helps them in sustaining their livelihood, especially as it affects those who are married early. If they are given that education, it helps them to organize themselves in terms of even entrepreneurial, having some businesses to do, as well as getting themselves ready to be to be able to sustain their lives. So I want to lend my support to this motion and to also call on the federal government, I think most importantly, to provide a enlightenment campaign, especially in our rural areas, to ensure that the girl child are given the opportunity to be educated. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in prayer 2, I'm aware that most of the state governments have domesticated this Child Rights Act, especially in the northern states where the girl child, in respect of the marriage for girl child, it has been domesticated that once a girl child reaches probation period, she can get married. And this is not a traditional practice, as it is highlighted here in prayer 2. The issue of girl child marriage is a religious practice, especially in Islam. So I think it's important to highlight this, because most of the state governments have domesticated probation for the girl child. So I would like to amend the prayer to read, encourage state governments to domesticate and enforce the Child Rights Act and the Violence Against Persons Act with a focus on eradicating harmful traditional practice like female genital mutilation while ensuring girls' protection and empowerment. I so move, Mr. President.
So you want to remove that aspect?
The tradition
just in case there is need for a child to marry according to
Islamic
religious injunction.
Yes, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Any seconder? Yes.
Second the motion, ably canvassed by Senator Yaradua on the child marriage removal. I so submit.
Well, I will put the question, and who actually is a girl child? Because the concept of girl child is important. We should be able to have a kind of age limit that we call somebody a child. So, but if we want, anyway, there's an amendment to prayer 2 that we should say, encourage state governments to domesticate and enforce the Child Rights Act and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act with a focus on eradicating harmful traditional practices such as female genital mutilation while ensuring girls' protection and empowerment. The only thing that is left there is child marriage. Those in support of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the child marriage is removed from that prayer. But please let us be sure that the various laws in the states define the age limit for a child. Because you definitely have ages that you can say you are a child or you are not a child. Prayer 3, mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to monitor the implementation of the girl child protection laws and policies to ensure that gaps are addressed and accountability is maintained. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Okay. Any additional prayer? So let me thank the Distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe, for sponsoring this motion, and thank all of us who have contributed, and thank the entire Senate. And I wish the girl child in Nigeria well and to become educated. I pray that all the governments and persons of age, adults, will take care of the girl child, ensuring their welfare, ensuring their education, and ensuring their empowerment in all aspects of life, because they are not inferior to men, so they can achieve their potentials. Thank you. Yes, Leader of the Senate.
House, thank you for indulging me to bring to your attention the plight of the Nigerian girl child and the need for urgent intervention by the federal government of Nigeria to save the future of our girls. My name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. The Senate notes that the Nigerian girl child is subjected to numerous social, cultural, and economic challenges that severely limit her opportunities for growth, development, and contributions to society, including the denial of education, gender-based violence, early marriage, and poor healthcare access. Also notes that Nigeria has over 10 million out-of-school children, with the girl child disproportionately affected. According to a 2020 UNICEF report, girls constitute over 60% of the out-of-school population, the problem that is exacerbated by cultural barriers, insecurity, and economic disadvantages, especially in rural and conflict-affected areas. Concerned that gender-based violence, including rape, child trafficking, physical abuse, continues to rise across Nigeria, with numerous incidents reported in all 6 geopolitical zones, often with minimal legal recourse or protection for the victims, leaving girls vulnerable, stigmatized, and unsupported. Also concerned that girl-child marriages remains prevalent across Nigeria, with the northern zones showing alarming statistics. According to the 2018 Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey, NDHS, over 44% of girls are married before the age of 18, with high percentages in states like Zamfara, Bauchi, and Sokoto. Child marriages deprive children of their right to education, health, and safe childhood, trapping them in cycles of poverty and oppression. Observes that each of the 6 political zones has distinct but equally pressing challenges facing the girl child, and citing real-life scenarios to underline the urgency of the situation. Acknowledges that Section 17, Section 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, mandates the government to ensure that children have equal access to educational opportunities, and that the state must protect the vulnerable from exploitation and abuse. Convinced that the continued marginalization of the Nigerian girl child threatens the future development of the country, and it deprives half the population of their right to education, health, economic empowerment. The World Bank notes that investing in girls' education is key to achieving Sustainable Development Goal, SDG, and lifting families out of poverty. Also convinced that the future of Nigeria is directly tied to the empowerment of the girl child, and that urgent action is required from all levels of government to address these systemic challenges. Accordingly, the Senate resolves to urge the federal government of Nigeria to declare a state of emergency on the protection and welfare of the girl child, to address the educational, health, and safety needs of girls across the country. 2, encourage state governments to domesticate and enforce the Child Rights Act and the Violence Against Persons Act, with a focus on eradicating harmful traditional practices like child marriage and female genital mutilation, while ensuring girls' protection and empowerment. 3, mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to monitor the implementation of girl child protection laws and policies, ensuring that gaps are addressed and accountability is maintained. I so move.